Hello, friends. Welcome to day 3 of our week 3 hand lettering practice. In today's video, I am using the worksheet set from earlier this week that was meant for swatches. Now, after doing this worksheet set, I realized that I really enjoyed this specific one. I don't know why. It was just like kind of calming, and I think something about the repetition, I just really enjoyed it. So I wanted to use this for my practice in today's video. And so I do have a little bit different of a setup here. I am back in my office because my kitchen table is in use, and that's fine. Sometimes, it's kind of the hub of the home, the kitchen, right? And so I just wasn't able to get down there and use it today, but hopefully that's okay. You're probably used to seeing this setup if you've come from my How to Hand Letter channel, so it shouldn't be too different. But I tried to move the camera so that you're really seeing the strokes and seeing the brush pen work and things like that. A lot of times when I'm doing those lettering videos for How to Hand Letter, I have that overhead view so that you can see like a wider range of things and just that it's really clear and stays in focus. But when it comes to actually like seeing how the brush pen tip is getting pushed onto the paper, I know sometimes my hand gets in the way. And so that's kind of why when I'm doing my kitchen table practice videos, I have done that more side view. It's not like probably as aesthetically pleasing, especially because I now have a brown kitchen table. I do have a tablecloth that I might put back on it, but for now it is brown. And it's probably not as bright, but I think that what matters is that you guys want to see the tip of the brush pen. And so that's why I've been using that angle, but let me know if you have a different preference, because I'm happy to adjust if that's not working as well for you. But I think I've heard over the years enough people say that they like to see the angle from the side. So that is why I'm doing that. But today we have this different angle. So I hope you've liked using these practice worksheets, and this one especially. I don't know, I just found something kind of like meditative, or maybe that's not the right word, but just something about the rhythm of kind of doing the same thing over and over. And I did find myself multiple times using this when I was doing this video. I found myself multiple times trying to like speed up. And I think it's just because as you get more comfortable, or as I got more comfortable with the strokes, I just naturally like speed up because I can, right? Like it's still working, but I tried to challenge myself to continue to go back to doing it more slowly, just because to me that's kind of what is the more peaceful and relaxing part of the lettering practice. And I know I'm saying lettering practice even though we have no letters on this page, but really to me this is kind of the foundation for creating that beautiful hand lettering. And so I just think it's worth our time to do these practice drills, and I also just think they're really fun. The other thing is I found that I kind of needed to move my hand up on the brush or the brush pen a little bit more than I maybe normally did. And I also needed to move my hand over far enough so that I was able to complete the stroke. If I didn't do that, like if I started with my hand too close to the front of the brush stroke, I then kind of had to pause and pick up my brush pen. And that's okay. I got a comment the other day saying that they weren't able to do the entire stroke without picking up their brush pen, and that is completely fine. But if you are wanting to do it all in one stroke, just make sure that you have your hand over to the right enough so that you're not running out of space and needing to scoot your hand over in the middle of a stroke. I know that's kind of different. It takes a little bit more to get used to because we are used to just writing one stroke at a time, so we can constantly be moving our hands. But this one requires like a little bit of forethought. And if you're not able to complete the entire stroke without lifting your pen, that is completely fine as well. Personally, I find it maybe a little bit easier to pick up my brush pen at the top stroke than I do at the bottom, just because I'm going from like a thin to a thick stroke then, versus if you are picking it up at the bottom and your stroke is kind of thick, then you're having to kind of like match that, if that makes sense. So my preference is to pick up my pen at the top of one of the brush strokes. It doesn't matter which one. I would probably naturally choose one of the bigger ones, just because it's probably naturally when I would need that break, but it's totally up to you. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't make your hand sore or, you know, push yourself beyond what feels comfortable if it's not comfortable for you. But if you're wanting to do it all in one stroke, those would be my tips. Kind of move your hand a little bit up the brush pen, not a lot. I mean, you can see I'm not like super far up the brush pen, but just enough where you give yourself some space to create those movements. And then also make sure your hand is far enough over to the right so that you are able to continue on with that stroke without running out of space. So speaking of speeding up, I did want to address that really quickly because I got a comment, I think yesterday or the day before, or sometime recently, where somebody was asking if the video was in real time. And yes, these videos on this channel specifically are all in real time. And I plan to keep it that way just because I want it to be like where you sit down and practice with me, where if I'm doing it in 10 minutes, you can do it in, probably around 10 minutes. Now, granted, maybe I'm moving faster or slower than you. It could be either way. And if that's the case, then obviously we're not finishing at the same time. But I don't want it to be something where I have completed something and I put out a video of that thing, but I did it in 3 times the speed. So in what looks like it took me 10 minutes, it's going to take you 30. I don't want that to be the case here. So on my How to Hand Letter channel, there are videos where I have a lot of sped up lettering, but those are not usually videos where people are practicing along with me. They're just me like trying to demonstrate something or to show how something is done, and that would be like really long if I didn't speed them up. Same goes for social media, at least. Maybe not as much anymore because we can now make longer reels, but man, I used to remember at the beginning of Instagram, was it 1 minute reels? I think it might have even been shorter than that. We weren't allowed to do more than maybe 30 seconds. I don't remember, but it was very quick. So if you wanted to letter a whole word in that reel, you pretty much had to speed it up. And so that is why you will see a lot of sped up hand lettering on Instagram and like those shorter videos specifically. But I do think maybe that's changing a little bit. Now people can post multiple minutes worth of reels. And so I noticed, I'm not sure that everything's as sped up as it was before. I also don't see as many hand lettering videos. So that could be different too. But just keep that in mind that when you see videos on social media, especially shorter ones, oftentimes they are sped up. But on this channel, where the intention is for us to just practice, these will be kept in real time. So I hope that is helpful for you and makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions though, because I will be doing another Saturday summary video this weekend so that I can kind of show you, if you have like specific questions, I can kind of show you with a little bit more time, not in the middle of a practice session. So hopefully that's helpful for you if you have any specific questions you want me to go over. But yeah, I really just found it a calming practice to just keep going back and forth. And obviously, I think that it helps as far as getting better at hand lettering too. So that is kind of like a double, like a bonus for me. One thing I will say is I want to do this soon. I don't know how soon I'm going to do it, but I want to make a video where I show you guys how I would set up maybe a notebook or like a binder with the worksheets that we've been using here. So as we get more, I feel like there's a way that you can kind of organize it to be like extra helpful. And especially with stuff like this one that I really, like I said, enjoyed doing, I would probably just print out a handful of them so that I could use this as my relaxing, calming practice, every once in a while. So I want to show you how to do that, and I will probably create some cover pages for that. I did something like this similarly a few years ago when we had some other videos that were similar where I was kind of like doing different themes. And so I had made some cover pages to kind of like organize a binder with it. So I will plan to do the same thing for here. I just need to get them organized with exactly what categories we would need. But keep an eye out for that because I do think that would be helpful to kind of grow, to kind of organize your growing collection of printables for hand lettering practice. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Let me know what you guys think. Tomorrow we are going to work on a word, and I have broken it down stroke by stroke. And if you did not get that email, you should have gotten that email on either, I think, on Saturday. So check your email for that and print that out for tomorrow so that you are ready to go for tomorrow's hand lettering practice. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.